Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday morning, August 17th. Well, it looks like the lid is about to come off in the Atlantic Basin in terms of tropical activity. We have been very quiet in the past couple of months in the Atlantic Basin in terms of overall tropical activity, way below normal for this time of the year, the middle of August, in terms of the accumulated cyclone energy. We showed that number in the video on Monday. We may catch up in a hurry here beginning later this month and going into the month of September. Certainly plenty of signs for an uptick in activity, and could be a substantial change from the quiet pattern of the past few weeks to a very active pattern again coming by the latter part of the month of August. This is the way we stand right now in terms of tropical systems in the Atlantic Basin. No named tropical storms, no hurricanes. And here we are now moving into the second half of the month of August. There is a tropical system way down here that moved through the western part of the Caribbean Sea, and it'll inch its way to the north and west over the next few days. Unlikely to become a named tropical system. It very well could throw some high amounts of moisture into eastern Mexico, Texas, and ultimately into the desert Southwest. I posted an article yesterday, still on the homepage of the weather website, regarding the desert Southwest, which has really been kind of a misnomer in recent weeks. It's been anything but desert-like in places like Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Nevada. They've had plenty of monsoonal rain, and there was a tropical system that enhanced the rainfall this past weekend over Texas. That tropical moisture is now also feeding into the southwestern part of the nation. This too may ultimately send some moisture into Texas, Mexico, and then ultimately into the desert Southwest. Well, as I said at the onset, I do believe we are about to get a very impressive change in the tropical scene in the Atlantic Basin, from very quiet over the past several weeks to very active by later this month, beginning really over the next week to 10 days or so. And we'll go over a couple reasons why I believe that is the case. Obviously, we have one favorable factor this time of the year, and that is the increase in sea surface temperatures. It really reaches a peak in the tropical Atlantic late August, all the way out to middle part of September, and that is generally the main reason why the climatological peak of the Atlantic Basin tropical season falls early to mid-September, slowly wanes later in September into the month of October. Still a relatively warm waters going all the way into October. So you have a natural ramp up in tropical activity this time of the year going through the month of August into September, because really, again, sea surface temperatures have not necessarily reached their peak yet, and that of course is crucial to tropical storm development. Another factor I always like to look at this time of the year is what kind of a pattern we have, the 500 millibar level, in terms of height anomalies. When you get high pressure ridging setting up this time of the year over New England or southeastern Canada, that really enhances the chance for tropical activity to kind of slide underneath that ridge from the east to the west towards the southwestern Atlantic, the East Coast, the Gulf Coast, the Caribbean Sea, and indeed, we'll see right here, we showed this a few videos ago, and the pattern, the forecasted pattern remains the same here. We'll keep an eye right here in this part of Canada right now. There is some high pressure ridging over much of Canada, as indicated here by the orange shade here, but blue, upper level low, over the mid-Atlantic, Midwest, keeping temperatures at bay. Certainly only moderately warm conditions right now in the mid-Atlantic region, but we're going to roll through 5-day periods going right into the end of the month, and we'll see the change that evolves right here. Let's move forward here. These are 5-day periods, and here is the 5-day stretch for the current map. This is the 19th of August to the 24th of August right here. That upper level low kind of shifts a little bit to the west, starts to weaken. A lot of high pressure ridging setting up over Canada. It's not what I'm talking about, though. We'll see in a moment here. a little bit of ridging here over the southeastern part of Canada, but watch as we go farther into time here. This ends up becoming kind of a dominant feature right here. This is now days 12 to 16, the end of the month, and really going into the early part of September, August 28th to September 2nd. And this, again, I mentioned this a few videos ago, kind of sets a red flag, sends me a red flag that watch out in this part of the Atlantic Ocean, because when you have high pressure ridging that starts to dominate southeastern Canada, maybe northeastern U.S., that just opens the door for some tropical systems to move from the east to the west. It could affect the Caribbean Sea, it could affect the Gulf of Mexico, the East Coast, and this is the pattern that's setting up an intensification of the ridging aloft later this month going into the early part of September. So that, along with a climatological increase in sea surface temperatures, are a couple of reasons why I anticipate a significant uptick in tropical activity in the Atlantic Basin in coming days. Yet another favorable sign has to do with what we call the Madden-Julian Oscillation. We periodically show this particular index. What we have are phase diagrams where the MJO, which kind of represents a tropical disturbance that propagates kind of on a regular basis across the global tropics, and its particular location has an impact on weather conditions in all parts of the world. And when it moves into certain phases, climatologically speaking and historically speaking, there are certain temperature and precipitation patterns that set up. This time of the year, when the Madden-Julian Oscillation moves into what we call phase 1, 2, and 3, that typically becomes more of an active period for tropical activity in the Atlantic Basin. And the way this works is we start with an initial, this was initialized a couple of days ago, August 14th, right in this region right here. This is phase 2, phase 1, and phase 3. And the way this works is it generally propagates in a counterclockwise fashion. And phase 2 this time of the year is especially an active phase, historically speaking, in the Atlantic Basin. So this particular forecast from a couple of days ago moves in this direction here with regard to the Madden-Julian Oscillation right here, entering phase 1 on the 20th of August, and it just basically cuts right across phase 2 into phase 3 as we go through the latter part of the month of August. This is from an Australian forecast model, and other forecast models like the European, Japanese model as well have the same sort of pattern here, where we go into phase 1, 2, and 3 over the next couple of weeks. And again, that is typically associated with more active tropical activity in the Atlantic Basin. So that, along with those earlier signals that we talked about, certainly show some favorability for more activity in coming days. Well, let's wrap up with a 0Z run of the GFS model. Kind of broaden the view here to show more of a North American view rather than just a CONUS view, because I want to take a look at what this particular model run is doing out in the Atlantic Ocean area, as again, believe we're going to go from a very quiet period to a very active period in a short period of time. Here's kind of a nor'easter type of system right now showing up just down east of Maine, causing some rain across some of the eastern sections of northern New England, and a low-level easterly flow, northeasterly flow continues across the northeastern part of the nation, mid-Atlantic region, with moderate temperatures for this time of the year. But let's just kind of move quickly forward here and watch what happens in terms of tropical activity. I'm really focused in on the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean Sea here as we move forward. Let's just keep moving ahead in time. Kind of a little bit of a tropical system right there trying to get its act together here, but let's just keep moving forward here and watch what happens. Now we're all the way into the latter part of the upcoming weekend on Sunday. Still not too much showing up at this particular time. This is August 21st, but watch what happens at this particular time next week and going into the following week. We're starting to see some low pressure areas showing up here over the Caribbean Sea, perhaps headed in the Gulf of Mexico. This is about a week away now, later part of next week. And here we have, at this particular time, another system showing up right here over the central part of the Atlantic Ocean. And here's a reflection of that high pressure over southeastern Canada. This is now a week and a half out. Forecast map from a week and a half out. By the way, those 500 millibar height anomaly forecast maps were from the ensemble run of the GFS. This is the operational version for late this month, August 27th. Here's a very strong high pressure over southeastern Canada. Again, a red flag. Watch out along the east coast of the U.S. Watch out in the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico. Here's a possible tropical system right here. Here's another one right here. Let's just keep moving forward. And yes, this is kind of speculation phase. It's past the 10-day forecast, so we tend to lose confidence. But several reasons to believe that we can certainly have an uptick in activity. And here we are now, a system in the Gulf of Mexico, a system in the central part of the Atlantic, moving from east to west, again with that strong high pressure ridging over the northwestern Atlantic, over southeastern Canada, opens the door for an east to west movement of systems here. We're way out now to the end of August here, and look at this. By the time we get to August 29th, we have a system here near the Gulf Coast, another system here, and don't take these verbatim. This is way out there in the forecast. Just take the general pattern as something I want to indicate here, that indeed that the Atlantic Basin will become much more active later on this month. And here's another system, a third system, as a possibility here. Keep moving forward here. This particular model run moves this system on a kind of a scary path towards the west and north, towards perhaps New England. Again, total speculation at this point. Don't take this verbatim. Just take the general pattern as an indication here that indeed the tropics will intensify in terms of activity over the next couple of weeks. This again is a key player here. We'll be watching a high pressure both at the surface and aloft, southeastern Canada, northwestern Atlantic. One system, two systems, three systems at this particular time. So get ready, the lid is about to come off in the Atlantic Basin. Tropical activity will increase substantially over the next few weeks. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.